Welcome. I'm Ginger Burr from Total Image Consultants. I'm very excited that you're here. You know, our world has gone virtual pretty much overnight, and we're all being seen online, whether we like it or not, almost daily. I'm always happy to give you fashion tips and tricks and guidelines for how to create a look you love, and this is no exception. Today, I'm going to show you how to remove the stress from getting dressed and the worry from how to appear on Zoom or online and replace it with more joy and ease. So have a notebook ready and let's get started. Well, welcome everyone. We have a huge group. I'm so excited that it seems like this was a very timely conversation. We are in we're not even in a new normal yet. We're just, who knows what we're in right now, but clearly everyone is working from home if you're working, which I hope you all are. And so it means that everything's being done online. And so yes, if you join us, please make sure to mute yourself. Actually, I'm gonna mute Carol, I hope you don't mind. All right, so we're just in a totally new place. And so everything's happening online. I have done a lot of Zoom calls, Skype calls. I do a lot of virtual work with my clients all over the world. So I'm always on these types of things. And I've kind of seen everything when it comes to how people present themselves online in this situation. And I know it can be a little bit challenging. So I have a lot to talk about with you today. And I will be happy to take questions. Just want to get over here to the chat so I can make sure that I'm seeing you all. Yes, okay, great. So I can see any questions as they come in. The first thing I want to talk about is it's really important to have a good internet connection. Now, part of the reason I'm mentioning that, it seems obvious, but part of the reason that I'm mentioning that is that I was on a Zoom call yesterday with someone, and I don't know if it's because of where her home is, or if it's because Zoom is probably taxed to the limits at this point, I don't know, but all of a sudden she disappeared. So I just want to tell you all that if I disappear for any reason, I don't expect that to happen, but if I do, just stay here for a minute. I do my best to get back online at this exact call. If for any reason that doesn't happen, go to my Facebook business page, Total Image Consultants, and I will post a new Zoom link and we'll just keep going from there. I don't expect any of that to happen, but I just wanted to have a contingency plan just in case. So the first thing that I want to talk about, because it's really important, and really this is in no particular order, I just started making tons of notes because there's so much involved with being online. And the first part is lighting, because I have seen lots of different experiences of lighting. I have been making some of my own videos from time to time, so I have invested in a lot of lighting. It actually is not as expensive as you think, but good lighting is really good, is really important. And be very careful of overhead lighting if that's the only type of lighting that you have, because it can cast really dark shadows on your face. Also, you do not want to be backlit. So it's best not to be in front, have a window behind you facing away from the window. Katie, you're so funny. Yeah, well, Katie, I can still see you, but if you can see yourself there, see how it casts a little bit of a shadow on your face. Now, I have an iMac, so I have a desktop. And mine, it doesn't move around very easily. So I created all kinds of things to make it work because I can't put a window right in front of me without undoing all the wires and everything, and that's just not going to happen. So I can't turn it around to show you the light that I'm using, but I repurposed a light. This is the light. I hope that you can see this okay. There's a little picture of a kitty in there too. That's the light that I'm using. It's an old desk lamp, one of those, lights that has the hinge on it. And I just hooked it in behind my computer, and that's basically what's shining on my face right now. So I get a very clean, clear lighting. And just as a little extra tip, which has nothing to do with being on Zoom, if you're ever meeting someone out at a restaurant, assuming we ever get to go to restaurants again, if you're ever meeting anybody at a restaurant and you have the choice of sitting with your back to the window or facing the window, sit facing the window. You'll look great because all the light will be splashing on your face. If you sit with your back to it, you will have you will be in shadow. So just a little aside there. Good lighting is really important. I'm hoping I can show you this. This is one of the round, there's a name for them that's gone out of my head right now. I forget what they're called, but you can find these anywhere online. Halo, thank you. Ring light, Halo, thank you so much to both of you. Yes, that's what this is. I got a fairly good sized one. You can put your phone in here. I actually don't. I put it on a tripod and put it right in front of here if I'm working from my phone, which I do sometimes do. So that is one light. Now I'm also about to get, a friend of mine told me about this light. It's a little tiny one. I'll show you what it looks like because they have this on their page. This is what it looks like when you use it. And you can hook it in, you can hook it anywhere. And it allows you to put your phone right there, and then you can move. I like that you can move the light wherever you want it to be. And I might even try it here on my desktop. And that, I think I got that for like $16. None of these have to be super expensive. But the lighting is really important, and you can have a look. They're very easy to set up. You can keep them set up. Like this is just always set up. I just turn it on, turn it off. So lighting is very important. Also, what I want to show you, you're going to see some very interesting things with me that I can't believe I'm going to show to you. But I'm going to turn off my light for a minute so you can see what it looks like when I don't have this light on. So there you see me, just kind of, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. So let me put it back on again because it looks so much better. And everything just looks more vibrant and bright, and I feel better. So I highly recommend that you invest in a light. If you have one of those little lights like I showed you the picture of, then go for it. And I will put all of these lights, Cheryl was asking about the name of the lights. I will put the link for these lights in the, either on Facebook or if you're on my emailing list, you'll get it in the email that I'll be sending out. So,
thank you.
Yes. All right, so if anyone is joining late, thank you, Hillary, for the reminder. Anybody joining late, please mute yourself. So I don't have to go in and mute everybody. So there's a little mute button down on the bottom left. Please click on that. So there's a red line through it so that we're getting some background noise. We want to make sure everybody is muted. Okay, so that's about lighting. Any questions about lighting? And I know some of you are asking the names. I promise I will give you all the links for those so that you can find them easily afterwards. Okay, so the next thing is background. And you want to keep your background as simple as possible. And what I found for me was just sitting here, my head's kind of, not that there's anything wrong, I have a very nice fireplace back there, very nice fireplace, but I kind of keep my head centered so that it's somewhat simple in the background. I'm in my office. I also have a place in my studio in a chair where I can set up my ring light and my tripod, and it's just me and the chair, and there's not some white shutters in the background. That's pretty much all there is. So you want to keep it simple. Since we're mostly talking here about if you're doing this for business or going to a professional presentation where you're going to be seen, you know, I recommend not, unless it's the only place you have in your whole house, try not to do it in your bedroom. And there's some very funny stories online about what has happened when people have done them in their bedrooms. But, and if you have to, make sure, I'm going to get to this in the middle about how to angle it and how you should be positioned in the picture. So you'll want to follow that very closely because we don't really want to be seeing your bed. A friend of mine, and maybe Hillary can speak to this even more here, tried using one of the virtual backgrounds, and she gave it a real college try, and it sounds like it was terrible. What she said was that she felt like she was a little animated head bouncing around in this background. Now, there may be some out there that are great, but the one that she tried did not work very well. So you can try those, but you want to do a little test first to make sure before you get on and you're just this bobbing head. And Hillary's responding over here in the chat, so you can see what she's saying about that as well. The other thing is noise level, and as you can see, I think a lot of us are very sensitive to that, and we sometimes forget when it's our own noise. So that's why what I recommend is the minute you get on the call unless you're the presenter. The minute you get on the call, mute yourself. Sometimes presenters will mute everybody automatically when they arrive, but if not, just mute yourself so you don't have to worry about it. Again, there's some really interesting and embarrassing stories out there of people who have not muted their microphone and things get said or heard that they don't really want said or heard. Even just typing can be heard, and it can be very irritating to people who are listening. So even if you're doing nothing else, but that's all you hear, and particularly now where people are home and sometimes their children are home right now because schools are closed, you don't want any children noises happening either. So just mute yourself immediately. Also, what I do is I made myself a little note. And this is, I don't know, will this show up backwards? Probably, yes it is. Okay, so what it says, I keep this before I go on to a Zoom call, I say, close my email, mute my phone, because phone noises, you know how much they can just bing and ring and all those things. I turn on my light so that I remember to have that on, and I turn up the volume on my computer so I make sure that I can hear everybody really well. And I don't know if it helps people to hear me if my sound is up or not. I think it doesn't, but it helps me to be able to hear everybody else. So I have this little note near my desk that I keep handy. Let's see what else. You know, the next thing I want to talk about is about being present. And like I said, I've been on a lot of Zoom calls, and it's very distracting, and I'm not always the presenter. I've been on a number of other people's calls lately, but I see people multitasking on their phone, looking bored, eating, all of these kinds of things. My suggestion is, if this is business related, pretend that you're in the room with that person who's presenting the presentation. You wouldn't be, I hope, on your phone. Hopefully you wouldn't be looking bored, even if you are, or multitasking in some way. You wouldn't be doing those things. So don't do them. Pretend that you basically are in the same room. It's just a virtual room right now. So, okay, somebody's phone, make sure you mute. Sorry, just need to mention that again so that we aren't getting any excess sound here. Let me just go in and see if anybody is not. I'm going to mute a couple of people here. Just, there we go. Okay. I muted a couple more. That one won't mute. Okay. All right. So be present. Look engaged. Look, straight into the camera, or actually, in this case, if you're watching somebody, you're going to be watching them. Don't be multitasking. To me, it feels very rude. And if you really, really, really need to go do something else, turn off your video. Obviously, if you're in a business meeting, they probably frown on that, but if you're at a presentation, turn off your video so that it's not distracting to people. And what people are seeing, if everything is set up right, is they're seeing your facial expressions. So try to, even if you're a little bored, try to look a little bit engaged, try to look like you're interested, because it's just a nice feeling for presenters to feel like people really are there with them and listening and being interactive and engaging. Okay, I already talked about muting. All right, where to look and how to set up I'll talk about that in a minute. Where to look, this is very easy. If you're speaking, you want to look at the little dot on your computer or your phone. It feels weird, I know, but that shows people that you're actually making, pretend that's a person if you have to put somebody's face up there. That shows you that you're engaged with them, and it's a better way for making eye contact. If you look at your screen, they don't feel like you're making eye contact with them. If you're not speaking, it doesn't matter. Obviously, you want to be looking at the screen because you want to see what's going on. But if you're speaking, look at the little dot. I recommend, again, business related, presentation related, sit up straight, and have good posture. I've been on a lot of calls where I see people in all kinds of positions, which I don't necessarily recommend if it's a professional meeting. The angle of the computer is really important. Let me just go over here for a second. Okay, yes, and Jody mentioned, and I just want to make sure that we're covering all the territory. Jody says, beware of mirrors. Yes, that's absolutely true. If you have a mirror behind you, people can see all kinds of things. So again, all the things I'm mentioning, that you want to make sure that you feel like you're in a professional meeting. So with mirrors, they can see parts of you that you may not have expected. Yes, Karen, I will definitely get to that. She says you fade in and out like a hologram when you're moving too much. Yes, we will definitely be talking about that. So that's very important. So maybe there's a workaround. One of the things for that, I'll just touch on that now since we're talking about it, is, and I do have one, I have a swivel chair, so I have to be careful not to be, you know, doing this a lot, but it's, if you can be not in a swivel chair, or if you have your feet planted firmly on the ground so you're not doing a lot of, you know, the fidgeting stuff, that will help you from moving a ton. Yes, Hillary, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Mute yourself as the presenter. No, do not mute yourself if you're the presenter. Okay. Sorry, did I say mute myself as the presenter? I'm sorry if I said that. Maybe I was talking about going and muting other people. If you're the presenter, do not mute yourself. No one will be able to hear you. Mute everyone else, or ask everyone else to mute themselves. Do not mute yourself. Yes, Hillary says, I was a moderator on a panel yesterday and muted myself anytime I wasn't talking. Yes, and you're right, there is, and that's very important to do so that you let other people have the stage. And there's a way to hold your spacebar down to briefly unmute yourself. I did hear that recently, that you can. I haven't tried it, but apparently you can use your spacebar. As long as you're not speaking, keep yourself on mute. I absolutely agree, all the time, always, always, always on mute if you are not speaking. Thank you, Hillary. Okay, all right, great. Some of this other stuff I think I'm going to be getting to in a second, and then I'll come back and make sure I haven't missed anything, or feel free to write it in again if I've missed something, because there's a lot coming up over here. What I want to talk about right now for a minute is the angle of your computer, because again, I have seen all kinds of things. So you want the angle of the computer or your phone or your laptop or your tablet or whatever it is that you're using, you want it straight on, right at the shoulders, head, right at the head shoulder area. You mostly want to be able to see your head in the screen and a little bit of your shoulders. So you do not need, you know, your full body. You don't want your head cut off at the top, just mostly your head right there. And you also, you don't want to be looking down. I'm going to show you something that, oh, I can't believe I'm showing this to you. Let me see if I can share my screen and show you the picture. Hold on a second. Yes, I can. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this is me. And I went to the great lengths here to show you what it looks like. Oh gosh, if I look down, you do not want, I see this with people all the time. You do not want to be looking down at your computer or your laptop, whatever, because then you look like I do there in that picture on the left. You also do not want to be in the dark. Again, I see people always in very, very dark rooms. So that's what happens when you end up in a very, and that's not even a dark room, that's just I stuck my head in a closet, if you want to know the truth. So I was just trying to show you what that would look like. The one on the right here is me just looking straight ahead, in this case as the presenter, eye contact in the little, with the little dot. Okay, we've got a lot of noise going on, so if somebody could please make sure that they mute themselves, that would be great. Okay. Let me go back here for a minute. All right, let me go in and mute people here because we've got some extra noise happening. Okay, I think I muted everybody. Okay, back again. All right, so let me just I'm checking the comments and questions over here. Where to focus is harder with a dual screen, but I'm thinking now maybe I can put my laptop on top of a small stand to raise it a bit. Does this mean when you're presenting with somebody else, Karen? It's interesting. I don't know if this helps. Yeah, I just got, this is something I'm thinking about getting as well, so that if I want to use my phone more, you can also obviously use a tablet there. It'll allow me to have it standing rather than trying to balance it somewhere. And Randy says, I have my laptop on a stand. I feel like I should lift it higher for the chin and neck factor. Yeah, you may need to put a couple of books or something underneath the stand if that helps. I can't see you right here, so I'm not sure what's happening, but Zoom virtual, oh yeah, Karen was talking about the hologram was about the Zoom virtual background. Yes, yes, apparently those do not work very well, as both Karen and Hillary can attest. All right, my glasses seem to be distracting people a little bit. Let me just turn it down, fix them a little bit so they're, hopefully that's a little better. That's another option if you've got a lot of glare. I couldn't see the glare on there, so thank you for telling me because it didn't look glared to me, so thank you. When giving a speech to an audience, we're standing, not sitting. Yes, you can absolutely do this standing as well. The most important part is just not to be moving around a lot. So find a good place and get a stand, whether it's, you know, if you're standing at a table, maybe you need a stand like this. And this one's adjustable, so I think you can raise it as high as you need to, whether you're at a high table, if you're at a high table, or if you're in your home, I don't know, maybe using a, what do you call those? By the fireplace, the mantles. You have to look and try different places when you're in your home doing that. But you may need a stand so that you can lift it up a little, or some people put them on books to raise it up. Yes, Jane, you can stand anytime. It's just a matter of following all the things that I'm mentioning here about making sure your head is centered in the space, that you're not moving around a lot, that your lighting is good. All of those things are important. So maybe getting a stand if you don't have one. I don't know what the setup is where you're standing. And Randy, do you also have an external monitor? Okay, I'm not sure about that one. How to minimize, improve double chinning and neck issues, Randy says. Yes, the most important thing is, as you can see, hopefully my neck doesn't look too wrinkly right now. You can actually have your screen up just a tiny bit, so you're slightly looking up. You don't want to be doing this, but so you're ever so slightly looking up, and that will help to minimize things that are going on here. But as you saw with that lovely picture I showed you a minute ago, you do not want to be looking down. That's when all the neck and double chin stuff comes in. All right, what do you recommend for angle and distance from the computer? I think the distance depends on how well you can center yourself in the screen. Right now, I would say I'm about 2.5 feet from my computer, but that might be different from other people. And if you're with my phone, I have to sit much further away from my phone. So I think you have to play with it to see. The most important part is how are you centered in the screen. It might be different. Anyone who just joined us, please make sure to mute yourself. All right, let me go in and mute anybody who hasn't. Here we go. All right, I think I caught most people who aren't muted. Okay. Okay. Can you comment on glasses, earbuds, and phones? Well, clearly with glasses, what you want to do is tilt them. I've raised the back of my, hopefully this helped. Please tell me if it didn't with the glare. I've raised the part that sits on the back of my ears. I raised it up a little bit so my glasses are pointing down slightly. And that will keep, I hope, keep the glare from happening off the glasses. Earbuds, phones. All right, so all right, let me just go ahead and mute people. All right, mute. Okay, we have cats crying. All right, so I do not use earbuds. Some people use earbuds and ear headsets, those kinds of things. Supposedly those are ideal. I have not had any problem with sound with my computer. So I think it depends on whether or not you have good sound. If you're going to be in meetings a lot, it's probably not a bad idea to invest in earbuds or headset of some kind so that you have really good sound. And if anybody here has some experience with headsets, headphones, earbuds, any of those kinds of things, please feel free to mention that. All right, so we're getting some people. Please make sure to mute yourself if you are not if you had just joined us. Thank you. All right. Also post that stand that you just showed. Yes, Giselle, I will definitely post the stand as well. And, oh, I love Hillary, you are a hoot. Hillary's using her ironing board with her laptop on top of books. So there you go, you can get very creative. You can get very creative. I was watching somebody yesterday, it was taped and it was all fine. He just picked it back up again and it wasn't anything super duper professional, but he had his phone just propped up and it fell over. So he had to pick it up and put it back up. And that was fine. I wouldn't recommend that if you're going to be doing a lot of business meetings, but for him that worked. And it sounds like Hillary has the exact perfect setup there. So see, you can get very creative. As to angle, basically, do you have to test the height of the surface until you find the right angle? Yes, you do. You have to, believe me, I have spent a lot of time both with lighting and with the angle of my screen, moving it forward, backward, I mean, tilting it a little bit how I need to get the right angle. So you will have to play with that. But the thing is that once you have that all set up and you know where it should go, boom, 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 you can have that all taken care of when you sit down, because if you're going to be doing a lot of these types of meetings, it'll become second nature after a minute. But you still might have to have a little notepad like this that just reminds you of certain things. All right. Okay, thank you. Much better with glare, just very occasionally now. Thank you. It probably just depends on where I'm looking. So thank you. Oh, Jody's concerned about the look of the wires hanging down as being unprofessional. These days you can get all these wireless headsets. So personally, I would recommend having a wireless headset. It's just if you need to have that rather than the earbuds, I would play with that a little bit. And you know, Staples, although these days we can't go in and talk to anybody there, but Staples or Best Buy, or I don't know, there probably are lots of places that sell those types of things. The Apple store, I would just go in and, once we can, go in and talk to somebody. Maybe you can even call them on the phone. They probably, at this time when we can't go into the stores, and just see what they recommend. Bose wireless noise canceling headphones work great. Thank you, Miriam. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to make a note of that, and I will include that in the list. So Bose wireless noise. Sounds like it takes care of everything. Noise canceling headphones. So Miriam, are those big headphones or little things that just kind of go? I've seen some people wearing the really big ones on their head. Can't hear kids yelling at each other. You're very funny.
They're big.
They're big. Oh,
they're made for airplanes.
There you go.
They work great.
Okay. Okay. So I do see. Thank you, Miriam. I do see a lot of people wearing those types of headphones, so they're very accepted, obviously, in the business world. So yes, that definitely works as well. About not having glasses, can I say that again? You want to tilt them a little bit so the back here, the temples are above the ear. They're not resting on the back of my ear. I've got them tucked down a little bit, so the angle of the glasses is tilting down a little. Does that make sense? Okay. Play with it a little bit. You may have to have somebody on the other side because I can't tell when there's glare on here, but I have them lifted, so I'm hoping there's no glare right now. All right, so I'm a teacher who will be recording videos for my students. This info has been helpful to ensure I look professional and not just rolled out of bed. That's awesome, Marcia. I'm so glad. And we haven't even gotten to what to wear, so we still have a whole bunch to talk about. Connection is much more dependable with wires. That's good to know, Jen. Thank you. That's good to know. And Lisa says wireless is very unhealthy, so you have to pick and choose what feels comfortable to you in terms of health needs and how they look and all of that. Okay, I don't think the earbud cords look unprofessional. I think it's personal, but I think it looked like I am prepared. Okay, so everybody has a different thought about that. So obviously you should do what feels right to you. Make sure headphones are comfortable, especially over the ears. Yes, absolutely. All right, awesome. Gosh, you are a great group. Terrific. All right. Now, let's talk about what to wear and what not to wear, because this part is also very important. Now, the good news is that if you want to, you can actually wear your pajamas on the bottom and no one will know. I I'm a big believer that when I'm presenting in particular, I dress head to toe. It makes me feel more professional. It makes me feel more empowered, makes me feel more pulled together. So right now I'm completely dressed. There's nothing on the bottom that I wouldn't want anybody to see. But if you're attending a meeting and obviously you're just being seen from the shoulders up, do what you want on the bottom, whatever makes you happy. So, all right, so hold on. Is there a way to get to the options, mute or video, et cetera, without seeing my finger coming at you? I don't know. I haven't seen anybody's, I can't see most of you. I can only see a small number of you at the top of the screen. So I think that you just use your mouse. Do you have a mouse? Use your mouse and you can do it without fingers coming at the screen. Somebody was asking about muting. All right. When you're dressing for being on, you want it to be simple is better. You don't need lots of things that are fussy, and you certainly don't want anything that you're fussing with. So make sure that whatever you're wearing feels comfortable, that it feels just, you don't have to do anything to it. It's just there. I'm going to show you some colors that work really well on camera. And this is basically being on camera. So let me share my screen again here. Hopefully this will come up. Yes, it will. Look at that. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I'm not sure. Can you all see that? I want to make sure you're not seeing the other one. What happened to my chat? Now I've lost my chat. I'll get my chat back again. Hold on. Here we go. The chat had disappeared there for a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay, so you're seeing the right one. Thank you, Hillary. Okay, great. Yes, light tops. Okay, perfect. All right, so when in doubt, almost any shade of blue looks good on camera. And so I'm just showing some basic colors that tend to look good on a lot of people. I can't tell you that each of these colors will look absolutely spectacular on every single person that's here, because that's not true. I'm a big believer in color. I'm a big believer in wearing colors that look amazing on you. So that's what's important. If you go back and look at any of my videos on my YouTube channel or any of my Facebook Lives, you'll see I'm wearing lots of different colors. And those are all colors that look fabulous on me. Some I wear, like for instance, not too long ago I wore, and in one of the new videos I just did, I wore a sage green. Now sage green does not look good on everyone. So you have to make sure you find the colors that look good on you. But when in doubt, these kinds of teals, periwinkle, which I know is very hard to find out there, kind of a deeper green teal. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G I put in because I love the neckline and I love that it says smile. And it's not a bad color of blue. H and I are colors unless these are spectacular colors on you, which neither of those is actually a very easy color for very many people to wear, do not wear those colors. You will just fade away, you'll disappear. I mean, even these, if you could see both of these models in another color, you would see how much more vibrant they look than in these two colors that will just make them disappear. So I don't recommend those colors. And personally, if possible, try to stay away from black or white. And I'm going to show you a couple of more things. I'm going to stop sharing here for a minute. And I know there are a couple of people who sound like they're not muted. Please do, if you just joined us or you accidentally unmuted yourself, please mute yourself again, because we're hearing a little bit of background noise. I want to show you a couple more things here. Where did I put them? Everything was right here in front of me. Hold on, I've got it here. Here we go. All right, a couple more things I do not recommend wearing. Be careful of this type of oh, you can see this right here very clearly. See how it vibrates? We don't want prints that vibrate. So that kind of a smaller stripe can sometimes vibrate and be very distracting and even be uncomfortable for some people's eyes. I showed you these two, and there's one other one. And I think you'll know why not to wear this. I can't imagine that you're going to wear this for a professional meeting anyway, but you will look naked if you wear that. So I don't recommend wearing an off-the-shoulder top when you're on a business meeting for that very reason. So you also want to make sure that you're wearing clothing that lays very smoothly. Now one person had asked me, going back to color for a minute, one person had asked me if you have to, and she's somebody whose color palette I had done, do you have to wear, can you just wear 50% of your best colors, or do you have to wear 75%? And my basic answer is, why not wear 100% of your best colors? Because that's always, always how you're going to look the best. So you can do whatever you want, but I recommend choosing colors that make you look vibrant, that make you look beautiful and feel great. And she may have been talking about having to put a jacket or a sweater or something over it. So you can see, like with what I'm wearing here, I'll lift it up a little bit. I just have a deep teal jacket on. It's a very smooth, it does have a collar, very smooth with an off-white top and a necklace. Very simple, not fussy. The deep teal is a really good color for me. So I kept it very simple. I recommend wearing colors that are great. That's just always my, my go-to is great colors. I once was years ago, I was at my hairdresser's and he said to me, gosh, you always wear the best colors. I said to him, well, why wouldn't I? So that's kind of my thinking about it, but clearly you all can do what you want. But I wanted to give you some heads up of some colors that really do work well. Any shades of blue and teal, particularly the medium tone to deeper tones, look really good. Let me see what else here. If you have a background, which most of us, I think, working out of our home, we don't have a background in a solid color, so this is not a big issue. But if you do happen to have a wall that's a certain color, don't wear a top that's the same color as the wall, because then you really will look like a bouncing head, because you'll just blend into the wall. Jewelry, again, I generally recommend keeping it fairly simple, although you will see me on some Facebook Lives and all that kind of thing where I'm wearing bigger jewelry because I really like bigger jewelry and I'm the presenter, so I can do whatever I want to do. But that makes me happy. So and here I'm wearing a very simple necklace. I love this, one of my favorite necklaces. I am a big earring wearer. They don't make any noise, but I like big earrings, so I am always going to wear big earrings. So again, that's a personal preference. I recommend not wearing any jewelry that makes a lot of noise. So, and particularly if you're taking notes, probably not bracelets, because in case they clang on the keyboard or that kind of thing. And one other little thing that has to do with not exactly what to wear, but something just to look for. I was talking with a friend of mine not too long ago, and she said, can you believe I just taped an entire hour-long webinar, and then I went back and looked and I had something in my teeth, and she had to go back and do it all over again. So you might want to just take a quick look in the mirror before you hop on a Zoom call. Make sure you don't have anything in your teeth, particularly since a lot of these things are recorded. And also, I recommend just running a brush through your hair, unless you have curly hair, and then I'm sure you don't want to run brush through it, but just take a quick look at your hair and make sure it's not sticking up oddly or it looks like you just rolled out of bed. So just make sure, these are just quick grooming things. I'm not going to talk about makeup because makeup is a very personal choice. Some people wear it, some people don't. That's totally up to you. If you want to see, I always wear it. If you want to see what I look like without makeup, you can go to my website, totalimageconsultants.com, and you can see, if you go to the virtual services page, you will see my 30-minute instructional makeup video, and you will see a picture right there of what I look like without makeup. That is why I wear makeup. I really like makeup, and I disappear without it. That's my personal preference. That's a whole other workshop right there, the whole makeup thing. And again, some people wear it, some people don't. So let me go over and see what's happening over here and see if we have some questions and comments, things that'll be helpful. Let's just see what's going on. Okay, light tops. Yes, okay, all right, that was for something else. What about scarves for pop of color? Yes, you can definitely do a scarf as long as you're not going to be fussing with it. So yes, scarves can be beautiful as long as you're not fussing. The other issue with anything that requires battery or charge is that you can be suddenly powerless in the middle of something important. Keeping track of how many hours you've been using them and regularly recharging or swapping out batteries is important if you are wireless. Very important. That's going back to the headphones and earbuds. So yes, thank you, Beth. That's very important. Yes, definitely pull out color swatches. And Diane, you know, she talks about wearing scarves. I love it. Diane wears scarves over fleece top all the time when she's online. So yes, you can do all kinds of things to kind of professional up something that you wouldn't normally be wearing out and about or to work. Will words on a shirt be mirror images? I have a feeling they would be, and I would not. I only put that shirt on with a smile on it because it just made me smile, because that's one of the things that I eventually, as we're getting closer, I'll mention it now though, is that, you know, smile, look somewhat happy when you're online. I mean, obviously not goofy and not inappropriately, but if you're watching a presenter, it's always nice to see a smile. I put that on there. I don't necessarily recommend that you wear shirts with sayings on it, but as you can see with the way you're positioned in the screen, most likely whatever is written on your shirt won't be seen anyway if you're doing it the way I'm showing you. Mostly your head, a little bit of shoulders, you won't be able to see it. So I don't think it'll be a problem, but mostly I would leave those off or not wear those if you're going on a professional meeting. Yes, I do have the option, Karen, you're right, to mute everybody before they start, but it sometimes makes it hard to unmute. I had thought, maybe I'm wrong, but so I'm sorry, there's been a little extra noise here, but hopefully I caught everybody in time. And Elizabeth, yes, naked isn't good. All right. Okay, Ellen says avoid black. I thought that was good for slimming. Well, two things with that is there's a whole thing about slimming in black. Yes, it can be, but not always. It depends on the style that you're choosing as to whether or not the black is actually slimming. But yes, darker colors tend to be more slimming than lighter colors. But it sometimes just looks very dull and it can look a little drab unless it's like one of your best colors ever. The other thing though is that you're only seeing this much of it, so it's not doing anything to slim because there are very few of us who really need to worry about slimming in the shoulder area. So that's why a pretty color can actually just feel better and make you stand out a little bit more. That's just my thought about black. I'm not saying never wear it. I'm just saying I would never wear it. I look terrible in black. I think part of it is knowing whether or not you look good in black. I look terrible in black. It makes me look haggard. That's the word, haggard. So I do not wear black. So it's a matter of whether or not you look good on it. And also it just feels like you kind of disappear into the color. And all white and all black do not translate well on screens, as Jody says. That definitely can be true. Oh, thank you, Giselle. Oh yeah, you're so funny about the necklace. So again, the black thing is just, it sometimes is, I find it a little drab. Maybe that's just me, unless it's one of your most magnificent colors, in which case wear it and you'll look great. I would not, I don't even own anything black to wear on top. I would not wear it. I would feel terrible in black. So without being able to see all of you, each individually, I can't tell you whether you should wear black. But sometimes it just makes you kind of fade into the background. I'm all about, you know, let's look our best. And if black is a great color for you, wear it. If it's not, then choose why not choose a beautiful color? I'm big on color. So I think it's kind of nice to have something that makes us stand out a little bit. Okay. And Jody mentions it too. Jody's been on TV a lot. It is a TV thing, so that, you know, I know we could get into a whole black thing here. If you love it, wear it. Don't make it fussy. Don't make it overwhelming. If it's not your best color though, I recommend not wearing it and wearing something else. And if you aren't sure whether it is or not, then have somebody do your colors for sure. No, so Ginger, no black on screen. Typically, it's really hard to, I have clients who rock black and look amazing, but it can be dampening for some people to wear it, myself included. So when there are so many other gorgeous colors out there, why just choose black? That's just my question to you. So just getting you to think a little bit about it and maybe choose something else. Wear what makes you happy. Go with, you know, make sure it's simple, it's not fussy, have a pretty necklace on with it or a scarf. And if black makes you happy, just wear it. You talk about light or dark background. Maybe you already planned to. With background, really what I think everything should be somewhat light. So I think it's a matter in your home of finding a place, because right now we're talking about working from home, finding a place in your house where the background is not too fussy, where you don't have a window behind you. That's one of the main things. And where you don't have anything that you wouldn't want people you don't know to see in the background. So keep it simple, keep it understated, keep things a little bit light back there, because it's so easy to have everything just be a little bit too dark, as I showed you earlier with some of the pictures that I did. You need good lighting. So the light that's coming at you in the front is more important than what's going on in the back, but I think it's nice to just have lightness all around us, except a window behind you. Okay, tops that have patterns or prints. So as I showed you, you don't want to do that kind of striped top, this kind of top, because as you can already see here, it vibrates. Prints can work if they are not, as long as they work well for you and they're not overwhelming. So they need to be the right size print. They need to be the right color combination. I tell people when they look at a print, what you want to do is close your eyes, open your eyes. If when you look at the print and you open your eyes, the first color you see is a color that looks amazing on you, then wear it. Even if you don't have to have every single color in that print be fabulous on you, but you need to have the predominant color look great on you. We could get into a whole thing about scale of print, whether you don't want it to be too big or too small for you, and for everybody that's different. When in doubt, go to a medium-sized print, because chances are that will work better than either going too little or too big. Again, we're only seeing a little bit of it, so I might not have like a big giant print sitting right here, because prints are distracting and they will draw the focus away from you. So if you're in a meeting and the focus needs to be on you a little bit, you probably don't want a print just sitting right there on your solidly on your shoulder. But if it's a print where the colors are spectacular on you and it blends and harmonizes with you, then it'll all look just totally beautiful. I'm trying to think if I've done any, actually in some of my new videos on my YouTube page, if you go to my YouTube page, which is Ginger Burr TIC, I haven't even been since my marketing person just uploaded some of my new videos. You will see me there in a couple of prints at least. I'm trying to remember, we just did the video shoot. You will see me in a couple of prints, and they are prints that work really well on me. Prints are always a little bit distracting, even if they're a gorgeous print, so you have to be aware of that. But again, where we're only seeing a little bit of it, probably not a big deal, except to make sure that the colors in it are beautiful on you. Can you change who you view on your Brady Bunch screen? Yes, I can. If somebody wants me to see them, I can see them. So just let me know. And if somebody's just trying to change it on their own, if you go up to the very top right-hand corner and click on, there's a Ubix, is that what it's called? That cube with the little squares. Click on that. It'll show you different ways to see people. Can we move people around? I can't move people around. I can just see people, different people. I'm wearing something that says MFA, and we'll zoom in on it so people can see if it is mirrored. All right, let me just see. All right, so Jane, why don't you unmute yourself and say something if you want, and then we will be able to see you. If you want us to be able to see and see if the MFA is mirrored or not.
I zoomed in and I looked, and it's not mirrored.
Okay, and the problem is that you don't have your video on, so we can't see you.
I'll do it again. Let's see.
We just see your name. Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you. That's very helpful. Perfect. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. let's see who else. Can you wear a scarf as an accessory or will it come across as cluttered? If you wear a scarf and it's tied beautifully and you're not fussing with it, it will be fine. If it's messy and you're fussing with it, don't do it. So go to my YouTube page. If you're not sure how to tie a scarf, go to my YouTube page and you will see scarf ties there. So definitely do that. Writing, I did a Zoom class together. Oh, Hillary says you can flip the image in your Zoom settings. Very cool. I didn't know that. Thank you, Hillary. Okay, so Karen says, never wear black since ginger did my colors. Highly recommended. Check out the teal and olive here, though olive wasn't in our best colors photo. I never wear black, not telling others what to do. Thanks, Karen. Yes, it's really a very personal choice there. Okay, so Hillary says, best place for me might be in front of an armoire, but it's a dark wood. I would say if you're not sure, do a test. You wouldn't believe how many little tests here I did today because I was trying to see if I could tip my screen back so I could show you what it looked like if I was looking down at my screen and I couldn't flip it back enough. So I was doing all kinds of little tests with Zoom. So you can test to see what your background looks like. I highly recommend it. When I'm speaking to someone on my iPad laying horizontally, should I look at the dot? If you're speaking to somebody, always look at the dot. I mean, ideally, then they feel like you're making eye contact. If it's, I don't know, sometimes when I'm speaking to somebody just one-on-one, I don't always follow that, but I always try to follow it when I'm doing a group like this, and particularly if I'm presenting. Okay, and Robin, I'm not totally sure I understand the question that you're asking. Can you change who you view on your Brady Bunch screen? I think maybe someone else is answering that, I'm not sure, but that's where you can go up to the gallery view or speaker's view up at the top, I think, and change that in so you can see who you want to see there. If you mean for me, I'm not sure why you're asking or what you need me to do, so feel free to.
I was just meaning if, can you swap around the people that you see on your screen? For example, you were on the following screen, and I was just curious if there's a way to move folks around so you can kind of view, if you're giving a presentation, you know, feedback kind of.
Yes, well, I think what you can do is you can either, there's an arrow up at the top, so I can hit that and then I can see everybody's, or I can go up to speaker view or gallery view rather, where I can see a whole bunch of people. With this many people on the call, I would still have to scroll up though to see more people. But I can ultimately get to see everybody, or what happens is, as you just did, when you unmute and you speak, you pop forward, so then I see you. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Thank you, Lisa. All right, Hillary, with an external light, it should kind of, I think you meant be kind of in front of us, like next to the computer versus to the side, shadows. Okay, not totally sure what you're asking. But the light should be in front. If you have light coming in from the side right near you, and I love that people are bringing their cats and dogs to this, it's so cute. Then you may want to put a light on the other side to even it out, but usually at least slightly in front so that it's, I also have, well, I have these other fancier lights that do soft light over the top. I don't use them a lot except when I'm doing video because they're much bigger. But right now, I just have a light right in front of me. That's all I have. And it works really well. Yes, I am, Giselle, I am just using the computer mic, which is why I don't have a headset, because I've never had a problem with, I have an iMac, and I've always had good sound with it. So I've never done a headset. And Lisa says, can you do color consults via Zoom? Not really. What I do have a whole way of doing color consultations, but long distance. And if you go to my website to the services and then color analysis, you will see how it's done long distance. It means you have to send me photos. I can't hold my, I have over 2,000 colors. I can't hold them up to the screen and show them to you because there's a glare there that happens that makes it impossible for me to be able to see what it actually looks like up near your face. But I do lots of color analysis long distance. So it can be done no matter where you are. The light should be in front of you. It should be shining on your face. The only time that might be different is if you have just have light coming in from the side, and then you may need to put a light on the other side. No matter what, you want to test it when you're on Zoom, because, and you can do tests really easily on Zoom or Skype or whatever, because it may look different there than what you think you're seeing. I'm always testing it there. It surprises me every single time I get on. But now I have a setup that works for me. Light in front of you, always in front of you, blasting on your face. All right. Do I tend to wear more makeup for Zoom? Carolyn says, no. I pretty much wear the same makeup I always wear all the time. And it doesn't change. So but I do everything. I do, you know, eyeliner and eyebrows and foundation and blush and lipstick. I do it all. So yeah, I like makeup, and I like to bring out my eyes. So I'm very big on lining my eyes, and my lips have no natural color in them, it seems, and they're fairly thin. So without lipstick, even when I was 30, my friends used to say to me, after we'd have dinner together, they'd say, oh, Ginger, you look tired. And I'd be like, no, my lipstick just wore off. So believe me, 30 something years later, that's still true. So I always wear lipstick. So that's just me. If you are putting a lamp, Hillary, I'm not quite sure what you mean. So maybe you could say more, or maybe you got the answer because then you said thanks. So you can also click hide non-video participants. Who knew? I didn't know that, Betsy. Thank you. That's good to know. All right, great. Wow. You guys are a great group. Are there any questions that didn't get answered that I can help you with? I will be posting the recording on all the Facebook places, wherever you saw it. I had it in all my Facebook groups and business page and private page, personal page, I had it everywhere. And for any of you on my emailing list, you will receive it in an email with all of the links to those things I was mentioning as well. If you aren't on my emailing list and you want to be, you can just go to totalimageconsultants.com/subscribe, and it'll show you how to sign up there. And then you get fashion tips and all those kinds of things if you want to. Otherwise, you'll find me on Facebook, which is where some of you found me anyway. And I hope that this was helpful. I had a blast. You guys are a great group. You had lots of good questions. A lot of you who I can see here are you have a great setup. Nice job. Very nice job. And I hope this inspired you. And I think it's always good. I've learned some things here today as well. So there's always ways we can learn from each other, and where, you know, Zoom is the new go-to meeting place. We might as well do it and look our best. Why not? So thank you all for being here. And I will see you all on Facebook sometime soon. So take care and enjoy the rest of the day, and be safe and healthy and well. Bye.